Can I have everybody's attention? If everyone can start making their way down to sitting around the tables so we can get the meeting started. If you haven't signed in, please find opportunities sometime tonight to sign in. On your tables we have little name tags. So if you guys can fill out the name tags. And then there is a trash can off to the side. If you want, you can elect someone from your table to gather the trash and just dump it. But feel free to enjoy your food right now. Great. So I want to welcome everybody. Thank you for taking the time to come here on a rainy day. Today it's a great turnout. For those who don't know me, my name is Jonathan Centennial. I'm the coordinator of the Kensington Epic Stakeholders. Just by a show of hands, is this your first meeting here around this subject of safety? Is that correct, safety? All right, so we have a lot of new people. We're going to have a couple different moderators. They're going to share what happened before this and what's going to happen next, and what's already been done. And with that, I think we can get started, right? So I want to introduce Barbara McKay from Parks and Rec.
Thank you, Jonathan. Hello, everybody. Hi, Barbara. As Jonathan said, my name is Barbara McCabe. I'm with Parks and Recreation. I'm happy to be here tonight, and this is a great turnout. So I'm just going to give you a very brief update on what Parks and Rec has done lately around the park, and then introduce a few other partners who have been working with all the people in this room to improve conditions. So since the last meeting in October, a couple of small items that we could easily address. We heard that there were no trash cans in the park. So now, it's not a big thing, but there are 5 brand new trash cans in the park. So, the other thing we heard about was signage, that there are no signs in the park, and we had hoped to have some of those installed before the meeting. But this is just one type of sign. We're working on some wall signs, but for now, at least, with the increased attention and police presence, we're going to try to keep people out of the park. This is standard for all Park and Rec facilities. No trespassing, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. They're nice and bright. Tomorrow, we're planning to install 8 of these in the park. So we'll see that. And then just one real quick follow-up on another item that came up at the last meeting was trees. Now, Parks and Rec, 2 years ago, made some plans, not only for McPherson Square, but for 41 sites within this whole region of North Central Philadelphia, the River Wards, 41 facilities that we identified that really are lacking in young trees. And you can't really have a great park unless you have trees. So to follow up on the last meeting, though, the concerns with safety, legitimate concerns that if we plant all these trees, because we have plans for big numbers here, that it would be a safety concern and people could hide behind them. And maybe we're not quite ready for these trees. So we heard you. We have put the tree plan on hold. We don't really want to stop the tree plan, but we hear you and we want to give you more solid information. We're willing to meet with any concerned neighbors. Maybe we set up a little time where we can talk just about the trees. We can show you exactly what trees, what kind of trees we're talking about, where we were thinking about putting them. We're willing to tweak the plan based on your responses. So I just wanted to come back to you with that as well. So they're basically the 3 Park and Rec updates. And I just wanted to acknowledge my boss who just walked in, Ed Fagan. He is from Parks and Rec. With that, I just want to introduce a couple of the other partner organizations that are here tonight that are also committed, and you know, the more the better. The more groups, the more organizations, the more community we can get to this effort, the better off we're going to be and the more positive improvements we'll make. So Beginning up here, Tessa Renshaw, Friends of the Free Library, and Amy Doherty. If folks could just give a wave. Okay. Jennifer Lahar from the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society. I've been a very good partner. We have two folks from the library, Ed Sager, Judy Moore, who most of you probably know, the director here. We have Phyllis Martino and Awilda Osakio from Impact Services. Marty Malloy, Marty, if you could just give a wave, and Ian Charlton are with an organization called Philadelphia Cares, and they care. So as you can see, there are a lot of organizations also working with us in this effort. And finally, I wanted to talk about the police, because that is something else that came up at the last meeting that was heard loud and clear, and I would like to introduce Sergeant Howe. And the 24th Police District has really stepped it up, and I'm just going to let the Sergeant say a few words and provide a little brief update from the police perspective.
Hello, everyone. First, it's real nice to see a turnout. I've been to many meetings, and there's not usually such a large turnout. The partners that Barb keeps talking about, that is key. We have to have part. However, it's your job to be a partner as well. Talk to your neighbors, talk to your kids, and get them more involved, to come out and participate. Apparently there's some discussion about cameras. I was asked to hold off on any of that discussion, and I'm so glad, because I couldn't tap dance all over that. But it is in the works. It's good. It's already been, everybody's been, they've looked at the product, they see what the needs are, they see you know, what it is that they want to accomplish with it. So blueprint is already in place, everybody's happy. Everybody has some stake and some vested interest. We have a stationary post at H in Ontario, we have a stationary post at B in Cambridge. We have 2 dedicated foot feed officers, which these guys are in motion. The only time they're not being seen is when they're processing some arrests. And the arrests are different now, where we used to have to take you in fingerprints and photograph you. We now do citations right out on the street and hand them to the people. The people who got the citations have to go to court. Court has to be able to process them and do what they want. They are not going to go to jail. So many murderers, robbers, rapists, burglars, stuff like this. Quality of life affects the community. It changes the community. You have to be here to support it. 3 times I heard 3 different people say, oh, the needles, this and that. We have a memorandum, a commissioner's memorandum. When we come across needles, we have a place to go to take them and put them in a box. Drop them off at the Episcopal Hospital. It's called a sharps container. Some of the firehouses have sharps containers. Almost every day, Kensington and Somerset, you'll see this religious group of organization. People that have all been in rehab.
Ministries.
They're ministries. They're all, well, that's one of them.
Okay.
There's 2. They come in to the neighborhood, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, University of Pennsylvania was doing a study on HIV, communicable diseases, infectious disease, quality of life issues on a sociological platform to see how these people are living and where they're living and how they're living, to try and get a hold of some picture to be able to, once you know the problem you're dealing with, you got to start picking at it, pulling it apart, and it doesn't happen overnight. These drug users, okay, they have family too, and somebody loves them somewhere. But when we lock them up for drugs, they're not going to jail either, unless there's some big time dealer or they've got some other stuff going on. You have to be able to put these, those people should be incorporated in these meetings too, because they have to know as well. So if the ministry people were out there giving out the free needles and stuff like that, they have to tell these people, look, don't toss these in the park. I'm not asking you for nothing. I'm giving you something for free. I'm feeding you. Can you, I don't know where to tell them to drop it, because if you drop it in the trash can, it's considered a hazard.
We did reach out to Rock Ministries and the Ministries and Prevention Point, which is the needle exchange program in the neighborhood, to try and get some education going. So.
Okay, that's the key.
Prevention Point, right.
We, as the police department, we are doing our best. Patrol officers, the uniformed guys and girls that you see, they're pretty much 911 driven in this district. there's not a break. With the manpower that we have allocated, we're doing the best that we can. It's great to see everybody out here contributing and being a part of it. You gotta stay strong, keep the faith. This park and this stuff didn't happen overnight. It took a long time, so keep the faith, keep working with each other, and, you know, get your families involved.
Thank you. Hold on. Yeah, we're gonna do questions. I just wanna let folks know real quickly. I'm really excited. I've just been involved with this for the last 2 meetings, but since that last meeting, which was at the end of October till now, we have commitment for a monitored police camera that's gonna get installed here in the park. We have a commitment for trash cans. We have signs here. We have a commitment from my boss, Councilwoman Sanchez, who represents this park. Things are changing. This is different than it was last time we've been here. This meeting, what we need to do is let people have an opportunity to talk and do that in a constructive way. We've got a lot of folks here, so we want to break up into 3 groups, and then everyone will have an opportunity to discuss with the representative from the police department, with the councilwoman's office, the safety issues. Everyone will have an opportunity to get their ideas up about what programs we need. Everyone will have an opportunity to talk about what the park needs for infrastructure, for the physical environment. We're going to get those ideas together, and then we're going to bring them all up here on these newsprints so we can all discuss them together and get an action plan for how we get this park going. So if that's
just how we're going to do
about the facilitation vehicle, I want to introduce Marty. Marty is with Greater Philadelphia Cares. He's going to talk a little bit about how we're going to do these 3 breakouts.
So this is going to be really simple, really easy. What we want to try to do is get an equal number of people around these tables. We have more people, which is good, than we have space to have intimate conversations. So what I'd like is my moderators, Justin and Phyllis and Barb, will be the 3 moderators. They're each going to go to one table. You don't move, they're going to move. So everyone is going to have an opportunity to weigh in on their ideas around infrastructure, programs, and safety. There are a couple of ground rules that I just want to make sure everyone is aware of. 1, every idea, because we're brainstorming here, every idea is a good idea right now. You never know how that idea is going to connect to something else. So encourage each other. 2, be respectful. We're trying to build community here, even amongst ourselves. Some of us know each other, some don't. So be respectful, because you could be sitting next to your next best friend, okay? And make sure that if you have a question, you ask it. All right? Don't let something slide past if it didn't make sense to you, because you are all going to help the whole community as a team. We're all going to decide, hey, what do we tackle first? What do we tackle second? What do we tackle third in those 3 buckets? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is try to get somewhat equal numbers around these tables, and I'm going to have my moderators stand, kind of be at the head with the big board and these markers, and if folks can kind of be around them. We're tight here, so if we could have a few folks, maybe my friends here in the back, if they could come over here, start at this table. Remember, you're going to be able to weigh in on every topic. If we could have some folks over at this table here, a few more folks fill in at this middle table here, and then if folks can kind of come in closer on this 3rd table.
In front of the library?
It's the best way to get Stacy with the money that we're going to have to sort of invest. Stacy, what's going on?
That would be a good volunteer project as well.
I'm going to share some of the ideas. I'm going to share with you some of the ideas with the other
Protecting the kids is important. Maybe having more undercover police and patrol cars, because they say.
A story outside.
Instead of like maybe kicking you out, just bring you in and do something before the park.
Okay, so community service.
Like nights when we open it.
For rehab,
Not just that, hire the youth, the 14 minimum wage, you work part-time, hire the youth.
There are note cards at all of the tables. I encourage you to write down your idea on those note cards. We'll collect those at the end, and they will find their way to these boards as well. So we want to make sure that everybody's voice is heard as completely as possible.
and just so everyone knows, after we share these ideas, we're just going to have a conversation together about what our next steps are, our next meetings, where we're going to go from here, and then we can wrap up the meeting and wish everyone a safe night. So the the ideas that came up in the safety committee, people know we need more police presence. That's a key of it. Undercover, patrol cars, the whole gamut of stuff. But people really focused on having cops on the ground and specifically having cops in unmarked vehicles or in plain clothes. Lights. Lights came up in every single group. People say the park's too dark. I think we've really got to look at what the solution is. The good idea we got from group 3 is maybe if we couldn't fence the entire park, then maybe we should really focus on fencing that top lot. So that top lot is kept safe and that the needles are kept out of there. Another thing I heard in every group is we need more outreach, more community involvement to create safety. That was about reaching out to the other churches and institutions that aren't at the table yet, but it was also about, can we build more block captains? Can we build our town lodge stronger than it is now? Can we get more folks involved to be that active eye on the park? And that's needed. Another issue is, and it's something we're going to have to explore and think about together, is needles, and are there ways that we can limit the actual quantity of needles that are coming into the community? Could it be set up so that it had to be an exchange, that you had to bring your needles back, not drop them on the playground if you want to do needles? We know there's going to be needles in this neighborhood, regardless of what we do in this room, but how do we keep them as safe and away from our kids as possible? So I think those were the 5 or 6 big areas that came up and they're on every single chart. I think everything really connected in under those broad categories. So I think that's really what the safety group came up with.
Okay, from the infrastructure and physical improvement, we got a lot of good ideas, and yes, so we heard loud and clear that the front of the library could really stand to be improved, particularly restoring the columns, a good paint job, make it more welcoming, perhaps a little flowers. Somebody mentioned a mural, so lots of good ideas there. The walkways, both interior and on the perimeter of the park, if they could be safe and passable for many reasons, including physical activity and fitness, walking your baby strollers, and just having them be safe for folks to walk. Lighting absolutely came up every single time. Somebody mentioned energy conservation, maybe some LED lighting, motion sensors. Somebody mentioned that, maybe we look into that, maybe in some particular areas. Upgrade the playground. Swings were mentioned. Game tables, where people could maybe sit and play some checkers or dominoes or cards or any kind of board games. Picnic, a little picnic area maybe near the playground. A basketball court, a handball court were mentioned, and with lighting, those should be lit. Other game ideas were hopscotch and foursquare, some things that we could probably do easily with very little money. Gardens were brought up. It'd be nice to have flowers at the entrances in front of the library, and there was even talk of potential community gardens, maybe even some vegetables. Adult park area came up, so a lot of people come here and walk their dogs. We're going to get some signage to make sure that they pick up, but maybe there'd be room to create a small space for dogs. Signage, library signage, let people know what the name of the library is, what the hours are, that it's open. And for the park signage, all different signs, rules, no drugs, no loitering, curfew and truancy came up, which is something a little different. And then the thought of drug-free zone like the school. I talk about maintenance, a lot of good talk about people chipping in and helping, volunteer maintenance. Snow came up quite a few times. We had a lot of snow last winter. It doesn't get plowed very well here, so you can't even get to the library. It's pretty impassable. So what can we do there? Maybe we could raise some money, buy our own equipment, store it here at the library, and together we figure out how to get it done, maybe using some volunteers. So maintenance and work days and volunteering was also a big subject. There were a lot of good ideas, and we've got them all here. Bike racks was another one, and a water fountain. Oh, and a water feature, I'm sorry. In the summer, it'd be nice to have a place for children to play in the water. At the very end, actually.
We can get the fire hydrants.
Save the fire hydrants, maybe a little sprinkler piece.
Infrastructure. All right, programs.
Programs. There were zillions of ideas, and I think we captured a lot of them. Outside and having movie nights as well as karaoke, having dance contests from different eras like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You can have different kinds of dances, and it's cheap, and people really like it. We talked about story hours outside, flea markets, picnics. farmers market, open mic night, talent show, snowman making contest, sledding. Outdoors, you could have some church involvement, you could have like vacation Bible school. There's talk about different types of athletic activities, basketball and handball and stuff. People were also talking about Pilates, Philadelphia Fitness, yoga, a running club, a summer children's series of events, quarterly fairs, a combination of a health fair, a flea market, and all these ideas kind of get plowed together so we get a community event.
What I'm from is from the Friends of the Free Library of Philadelphia. This library needs some help, it needs some support, it needs its residents to take care of it. What we do is we're forming a Friends group called Friends of McPherson Square Library. One of the things Friends groups do is brings different programs that you choose. And these things that are on here are going to be a reality through participating in the Friends group. First meeting we will have is December 9th here at the library. So all these great ideas, they keep going. You can have this every month if you'd like and plan for future programming and inside and outside. Some of the ones that were brought up, a lot of them, the ESL classes, resume building classes, writing workshops. These are all things that are offered free from the library in your community. Basic computer, intro to computers and those kinds of things. So a lot of these resources you can find, but what we'd like to do is bring them here as well. Having dance classes, tea cafe programs, and we have them in other libraries and other Friends groups, and the tea cafe programs and other Friends groups are such successes. People that really don't fit in the rec center have an avenue with a Friends group to fit in here and have programs for them. We activities, which also can do we exercises, college prep classes, Bible study, again, we can use after-school programming, which we do have. It's called the LEAP program, and they offer after-school assistance with homework Monday through Thursday, and that's already here and can be utilized. Resources available of all the community services. There's community organizations here that provide services to the residents to get awareness out of what you can get in your community, whether it be heating, whether it be job training, whether we ever have a resource fair here. Going on to resume building, parenting classes, and the list goes on and on. Whatever you want. You come tell, you pick, this is your community, you choose. And first Friends meeting, December 9th, please come.
Please come, all right?
At this point, I'm going to turn it back to Justin and Barb.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think there's a couple sort of obvious next steps for us here. I'd say, as Parks and Rec and the Councilwoman, we're going to be working together to figure out how we improve the physical structure here. And I think we should have a separate meeting, maybe in 2 weeks, maybe a Wednesday 2 weeks from now, where we're just going to focus on trees, what we can do in terms of fencing or lighting, figure out what our budget is, and just have a meeting where we really focus on coming up with a design together that we can then bring back to the broader community meeting that we'll have a little later. Does that make sense to people?
Yeah.
To anyone who wants to come for a conversation and really just talk about trees and light, I'll do a sign-up sheet that we'll have here at the end so we have everyone's phone number so we can call them and remind them. But I'm just going to look at what the date is 2 weeks from now. Is that the 30th? So 2 weeks from today, that's after Thanksgiving, is Wednesday, November 30th. If people are comfortable meeting here to discuss the physical, the infrastructure, getting that fixed, we'll do that meeting in 2 weeks where we'll start to come up with a design and figure out what we can fit in a budget. We'll do that at 4 o'clock. Now I'm going to make a sign-in sheet. It's going to be up here. It's going to say Infrastructure Committee. So people want to give me their phone number so we give you a reminder call. Please sign in there. We have our friends of the library. Yeah, do you want to announce this?
I put out there the McPherson Square Revitalization Coalition. Like us on Facebook. And everyone who wants to post, if you know that there was something in the paper, or if you saw that there was another community thing, or anything to do with the revitalization of this square, please like us on Facebook, and that's another way we can keep communicating of what's going on, where, when, and we're all on there, and everyone. It's not my page, it's not that page, it's all of our pages, so that we can all really form together and get this going, get this moving as a unit.
Can we get a sense, because we've never used Facebook around here before, how many people would find Facebook helpful?
Oh, good.
We all. The new wave of future.
In addition to this infrastructure meeting, how do people feel about the week after that next Wednesday, maybe we have a meeting to discuss safety, just with our police district and with the council office, and we can go over safety ideas and we get into more detail?
Okay, before we lose
We got one last item. Guys, I want to refresh frame where we're at, just go over that real quick. So look, November 30th, infrastructure meeting, we're gonna have a sign-up sheet there. Public safety meeting, December 7th, Friends of the Library, December 9th. We're gonna have this in the front, they're all at 4 o'clock, they're all Wednesday, they're all here. We'll have this in the front, everyone can sign up. We're gonna have sign-up sheets up there so people can get their numbers down. And then we'll all meet again. Let's set a date after these meetings in January where we can get together, plan for the spring, get ready to put these ideas into action. But one thing we should cover, what are the things that we could be doing right now as we leave here today? What are the action items that we don't need another meeting for, we know we just need to do?
Don't leave right away. Occupy McPherson.
Yeah, so spend some time, try to spend some time in the park.
Come to the library.
Yeah.
Get a library.
Come to the library. Come to the
Get a
library.
library card.
I'm sure many of you know Officer Tina Willis, but Tina is the community relations officer. She's been in this community for a long time, we knows it well, and she's here tonight to show her support.
And I would like to add something. You know, sometimes people feel that they get more out of things by being screaming at each other and complaining. Now, I hope your experience here tonight was very positive and that you enjoy seeing how much you can accomplish working together in an organized way. And I think the other thing that I think is very important is to remember to say thank you to the people who have actually responded, listened, and responded. Even if it is their job, it's always nice for people to hear the words thank you. We should, at our meetings, write thank you notes to the police captain so he knows that we notice things are better. And to write things to Parks and Rec to say, thank you, we notice things are better.
Well, I want to just thank you guys for turning the community back over to the residents and making us, empowering us so we know which way to go from here. So I
Thank you for coming out because of your power and because of your people numbers. This has been heard. Keep coming. Keep being part of it. Don't let it go. This is yours.
Real quick, I just want to thank you guys for having me here tonight. I just want, as you already know, I'm the community relations officer. I want to give you guys my number. If there's anything I can do for you guys, please do not hesitate to let me know. My number is 215-685-9963. I'm generally there Monday through Friday, 8 to 4.
I want to thank Justin the Bernardinez and your